Alright guys, so obviously at the end of episode 2, I died at Monkey Madness. Carelessness on my part. I should have, ate through the monkey's damage. I figured they'd just knock me out instead of killing me, but apparently they can KO you there. So that's alright, we're not going to hinge on failure, we'll just move on. It does present a good opportunity for my Ironman because, as weird as it sounds, but it clears my inventory, which is necessary for me to do a recruitment drive, which I've already knocked out. I just finished, and now I'm doing Fermentic Trials because there's two portions of this quest that you need a free inventories for, and that's Pure the Seer and then Thorvald, where you have to kick the guy to death, the first three forms. So I place my Initiate Helm on the table, and I'm just going to knock this out real quick. Placing it on the table makes your items last for 10 minutes instead of the 3 minutes if you drop it. So it's a decent way to go about things if you're doing quests like this or Intrana runs, etc. So we'll get this knocked out and finish this quest, and then we shouldn't have to do anything that requires an empty inventory for quite some time until I get to my next Intrana run. So I'll just deal with that when I get to it. But anyways, moving on. Alright, so we finished Fermentic Trials, which by the way I forgot to mention, but for the quest you don't actually need the skill requirements, which is a big misstep that a lot of people take. You can get the only thing you need with the skill requirements, you need the skill requirements to make the lyre. And you can actually get it from a drop there if you kill, I think they're level 48, any one of the named 48 monsters, not monsters, but NPCs. You can kill them, and they have, I think, probably 1 in 128 drop chance on the lyre. So you can do that and bypass the fletching and woodcutting and crafting requirement for the quest. So that helps out quite a bit. But anyways, I decided to come out and do a lava dragon run real quick, and I didn't have any luck, and I was hopping from too many PKers, so I decided just let's get out of here and pick up some steel plate legs on the way out. Legs are a decent alternative to plate bodies or earth staffs, just as an early money making method. For those that don't know, they're in the ruins in level 27, 28 wild. So typically, if there are a lot of Ironmen coming up, there's pretty much no worlds that have a ready supply of spawns at the steel plate bodies or earth staffs. This is a little bit cheaper, but it's a good alternative just to give you something for income, and it's usually spawned all the time. So you just take a look at that if you're still struggling to make money early on in your Ironman, but you don't quite want to go somewhere as populated for one, but as sparse in world spawns for the other. Alright, so we got the dwarf portion of RFD done. What does that put me on? I think I'm only on black gloves now, because that should actually no, this is steel gloves for me, so that's not a lot done. But I am getting closer, and we're still trying to knock out Barrow's gloves. That's one of the main goals right now, so we're gonna keep working towards that. But yeah, one more step down, not bad. Alright, so something I definitely want to stress from these early on levels is to not train skills from, very low level, the slow experience methods at whatever you have available. Meaning, don't sit here and train by spinning flax into bowstrings for crafting. Do quests for them. This is LE Workshop Part 2. I've already knocked out Part 1, which is, I think, 5k experience for crafting, and this is another 7.5k. So it's so valuable to knock out quests early on especially on an Ironman account. Because it just saves you so much time in early leveling. I need to get up to level 42, I believe, so I can make a fishbowl for the what is it? The Pirate Pete portion of RFD. So that's what I'm working on right now. Yeah, it is 42. But we're gonna keep training crafting through quests if we have any more that I can knock out. I haven't taken a look yet, but I need to get up to that so I can get my next my next gloves knocked out. Alright, so we're finally to the point where we need a loot bag, and I decided I wanted to get this on my Ultimate Ironman just because it's going to save me, I guess, inventory space. I almost said bank space. Well, my inventory kind of is my bank, but anyways, we need to save inventory space for questing. I'm about to knock out Monkey Madness, or try to finish Monkey Madness, rather, so I'm going to go ahead and get a loot bag and throw some of my armor, my black armor, black plate body, Addy Kite, and my miter, and maybe some runes in it, just free up some inventory space so we have a food supply, and are able to hold any quest items that we need. And this is something that I think I'm going to use throughout the majority of the series, because it's so valuable to hold on to things that I don't need immediately. And mainly I see this as being something like herb seeds and herbs or sorry if you're from the UK or elsewhere, herbs. Anyways, so I am probably always going to have one on me on this account. Unfortunately, the only way I can get items from it on an Ultimate Ironman is by suiciding, so I'm going to have to kill myself, and it'll drop all the items on the ground and pick up, or destroy the loot bag, which we just got. But, it's something that we're going to have to do. So every time I do that, I'm going to need to get a new loot bag, so I'm going to have to develop a method. I'll probably kill myself outside of Edge Wilderness in the dungeon and then get the loot bag at Thugs or something like that. Probably going to be the best method for me, but yeah, we'll go ahead and get to Monkey Madness again, I guess. Alright, so at the end of Monkey Madness, obviously there are a lot of people that know this method already, but if you stand in the southwestern corner, near the southwestern corner of the Monkey Madness area when you're killing the jungle demon, the little gnomes will damage him most of the way down. I'm using OS Buddy to use the health tracker just so I can see how much health he's at. I'm going to go ahead and start firing at about 8 health. But you let them damage him most of the way down. You safe spot over here. Obviously, I don't have Protect from, Mage even. So I have to do it with this method instead of just standing out there and tanking it. But he's low enough HP now, so I think I'm going to go ahead and try to blast this guy out. And if we finish this, well, we get some massive attack, defense, strength, and hit points experience. And I guess once we get 60 attack, we'll be able to use our drag sim. Unfortunately, we're still a while away from that, so I'm going to be stuck with a rune longsword until then, just because I didn't care to camp out at Fire Giants for hours upon hours trying to get a rune sim. Much rather would oh, we got him. So yeah, this finishes Monkey Madness for the most part, but I much rather would just stick with a rune longsword from the Champions Guild or Lava Dragons, which I'm just going to buy one from the Champions Guild to speed things up, just so I'm not camping forever for a rune sim. It's not a horrible idea. You still do get mage experience, but just as well if you want to camp Lava Dragons for a rune longsword instead of camping Fire Giants, you make more money that way, and because you're getting rune kite, rune full helm, rune meds, rune axes, all those drops as well, onyx bolt tips, all that fun stuff. And you're still getting massive prayer experience and mage experience while you're doing so. My opinion, much better to stick with the rune sim, or I'm sorry, rune longsword. But yeah, this finishes up Monkey Madness. Let's go turn it in. All right, and we got our fun training done with Darrow. So let's see what levels we end up with from here. Oh, not bad. 50 strength, 49 attack, 47 defense, 46 HP now. I never knew it gave you that little message about Legends Quest. Anyways, Monkey Madness is done, guys. Not too bad either without any prayer. Well, not without protection prayers. But anyways, progress. So since we knocked Monkey Madness out, I figured I'd go ahead and do Lost City. That'll get me a little bit closer to my next gloves. So, and just the option to use Dragon Dagger if I so choose to in the future. Now, unfortunately, the method that I'm using has been patched. Didn't know it was going to happen this way. At the time, you were able to put weapons and armor in your loot bag, as you see, and you could, if you didn't have them in your inventory, if you had them in your loot bag, you could still come on into Intrana. Now, maybe 3 or 4 days after I did this, looks like the JMods took notice, so apparently they, it's just not something that was intended, but it was just always overlooked. So you can't bring items, weapons or armor in a loot bag anymore. You're gonna have to die outside of the area and then go back. But because of the death mechanics right now, I'm able to suicide there. I'm gonna go ahead and run back, pick up all of my stuff, and then I actually just get to kill the tree spirit with full gear. Now, as I said, unfortunately, you're not gonna be able to use this specific method. You can't die on Intrana anymore to go pick up your weapons and armor because you can't bring them on now through the loot bag. But what you can do, and what would work for you, is going to an easy method is going to the Tazar Fight Pit area, getting killed by monsters there. That way you have 10 minutes after you die, you spawn in Lumbridge or Falador, run to Intrana, take the boat, kill the tree spirit, and then use the minigame teleport to get back to Tazar Fight Pits and pick up your stuff. Very quick method, and you can do it within 10 minutes. Alright, so I'd say I kind of lucked out on Fairy Tale Part 1, the 3 items that I needed to get. Potato Cactus, a Crushed Gem, which I just got from cutting an opal or whatever, and a Snapdragon, which I could just get from doing the Agility Arena here. So I'm pretty fortunate I didn't get stuck with something like a Nature Tally or what's that other thing? Uncut Diamond is what screws over a lot of people. So pretty decent luck here, I guess. So go ahead and kill Tanglefoot, which I'm one farming, and your damage is based on your farming level for this guy for the most part, I guess. But I did want to show you guys this little safe spot method. If you run far enough north, he runs out of aggro range like halfway through the room. So you can just tag him over and over this way and pretty much take no damage, unless I just mess up. And obviously I did mess up a few times here. But if you're having trouble with this guy, if which you shouldn't, he's fairly simple, but you could just use this method. Just a heads up for you guys. And let the Barrows runs begin. Not really, I kind of got bored, so I wanted to do one Barrows run, and this is the same method that I'm going to use for almost all of my Barrows until I get to where I can get a Trident of the Seas, because then I can use Blitz spells to freeze. I don't care for using, entangles, so I'll just use this kiting method and try not to mess up like I just did. But you just tag once and you run, basically. You do have to do it a certain way, and if you have any questions about it, just hop in my stream. I can tell you there, because it's a little bit more complex than it looks. I guess not really. But anyways, let's see what we get. It's got that spirit, right? So OP. Got Dark Trapped. Alright, so I only killed 3 of the melee brothers. I don't really care to kill Torag. I don't want any of his loot. I might do it in the future, but definitely skipped Urim and Carol at this level because I don't have overheads, and they just tear me up. The other ones I can safe spot. So, let's see if the first Barrows chest on this count is going to be sick. Got that spear, got that spear, got that spear. Nothing. Oh well. So keep in mind, guys, as you do some of these quests, you can come to Historian Manas here and get a little bit of experience lamps. Obviously, if you're an Ultimate Ironman, or probably regular too, I'd suggest using them on your highest of the 2, either Herblore or Runecrafting, because those are probably going to be your hardest skills to level, especially early on. Herblore's a pain in the ass. It's going to pick up if you're a regular Ironman and you have access to Kingdom, but if you're an Ultimate, definitely use it on Herblore or Runecrafting. And I'm just going to use all of mine on Herblore, just just for a heads up. But yeah, this will be, I think, 1k experience each. Not much, but if you've forgotten about it, you can probably go back and do this now. Alright guys, so I've finally figured out what I want to do with mining. So a problem that I've been working on today, trying to figure out the answer to, is how am I going to do mining without power mining and still getting some use out of the items that I get in return. So the ore or whatever I'm going for, in this case limestone. Because I wanted to use mining and smithing together, obviously, so I can train them up at the same time. Smithing, I've got a pretty good method going, doing the wheels that are at the Motherlode mine, fixing those. At this level, it's about 60 experience per wheel. It ends up being between 17 and 20k experience an hour. Not bad. So if I'm doing that, I don't need mining for, to complement smithing. But I've figured out that I can do mining to complement construction, which has been a big issue that I haven't known, haven't been able to figure out how I'm going to train construction, that is, in a decent, fashion. By that sense, I mean, I've been sitting at 5 construction because I don't want to go make planks at the sawmill and then, do it that way, because then I'd have to buy nails and all the rest, and it would just be kind of time consuming, just, wasting time woodcutting regular trees at this level. I'd rather, if I'm going to woodcut, I need to do oaks or something along those lines and get some good use out of it. But I've found that I can train mining, get 27.5 experience per limestone that I mine, and then turn them into limestone bricks by using a chisel on them. I think it's 5 experience per brick for crafting, and then teleporting to my house. And when I get to my house, obviously turn on building mode. I'll show you real quick so you guys know how to do this method that I'm using. Making decorative rocks. So you have to build a hotspot for a garden, regular garden, 1 KGP. And in the centerpiece you make a decorative rock, and it's 100 experience. It's 20 experience per limestone brick, which is really throwing up my construction level pretty quickly. I mean, I just started doing it, but... Sorry, text message. But this is actually not too bad of a method, So I think I'm going to do this at least up to level 19 until I get to, I think 19 is when I take over with oak. And I might do it a little bit past that too, because I don't have to spend money making making oak planks or regular planks or anything. I'm just using my mining skill, which I need to get to level 40 anyways, or 39 for Family Crest, and getting some use out of it in another skill. So just a little pro tip for you guys, for you to consider.